launches her podcast by taking an immediate shot, in my view, at Caitlin Clark and her fans.
They have sent it to my family members. My family members are like, uncles are sending it to me like,
no.
Are you naked on Instagram?
Did you know that nearly 45% of female athletes experience online harassment? But is that actually what's happening to Angel Reese? Well, Jason Whitlock doesn't think so, and he's openly challenging her claims, raising questions that have many people talking. Before we continue, a quick favor. If you enjoy this type of content, take a moment to like the video and subscribe to the channel. More than 98% of viewers watch without subscribing. It doesn't cost you anything, but it helps the channel grow a lot. If you already clicked subscribe, thank you. We truly appreciate it. Now, let's get back to the story. Just when the situation couldn't get more intense, Jason Whitlock steps in with a strong opinion. He says he's not convinced by Reese's version of events. But why does he feel that way? According to Whitlock, he's noticing details that many others might be overlooking. Whitlock has been vocal in arguing that fans of Caitlin Clark shouldn't automatically be blamed for the accusations Reese has raised. In fact, he seems to be one of the few commentators willing to ask the uncomfortable questions. Is Reese the only one being harmed in this situation, or could there be more to the story? Breaking down Whitlock's perspective, he claims there's no solid evidence showing that Clark's supporters are responsible. In his view, Reese appears to connect many negative situations she faces directly back to Caitlin Clark and her fanbase. Whitlock criticizes that approach, calling it misleading and unfair. But is he going too far with that criticism? Here's where the discussion gets even more interesting. Whitlock describes Clark supporters as ordinary basketball fans and families, not the type of people who would typically create offensive AI-generated images. His argument raises a simple question. Do these fans really seem like the kind of group behind something like that? It's a fair question to consider. After all, we're not necessarily talking about anonymous internet trolls. We're talking about passionate basketball fans. So if Clark supporters aren't responsible, then what's really happening here? Whitlock has put forward a controversial theory. He suggests that Reese could be amplifying the situation to attract more attention and keep the spotlight on herself.
When it comes to people finding, like, I'm talking about people have come down to my address, following me home. Like, it's come down to that.
Caitlin Clark fans are the reason people are making naked AI pictures of me.
It almost seems like Angel Reese is trying to deflect attention from herself by playing the victim. But it gets even stranger. According to Jason Whitlock, if you dare criticize Reese, some of her fans automatically label you as racist. He points out that a segment of her fandom interprets any critique as inherently racist. Whitlock, however, urges us to look at the bigger picture and consider the full context before jumping to conclusions. Now, here's the most striking claim. Whitlock suggests that Reese might not have reached her current level of fame without Caitlin Clark. That's a bold assertion, but it's worth thinking about. The media has heavily covered the rivalry between Reese and Clark, and much of the recent buzz around women's basketball has revolved around this storyline. This rivalry has certainly amplified the spotlight on both players, driving conversations, coverage, and fan attention like never before.
Post pictures in my bathing suits. No, like, multiple occasions, people have made AI pictures of me, like, naked.
There is something there. There's one person who is driving all this, and it's Angel Reese.
So, is Reese actually pointing fingers? That's exactly what Jason Whitlock thinks. He argues that she's turning controversy into a strategy, keeping herself in the spotlight by constantly tying her narrative to Caitlin Clark, even when the attention isn't entirely positive. But here's the twist. Is this approach backfiring on Reese? By repeatedly bringing up Clark and blaming her fans, Reese might actually be handing Clark more power. Instead of focusing on her own skills and achievements, she could be unintentionally making Clark the central figure in her story. After hearing Whitlock's perspective, it's clear that we might need to rethink our assumptions about this WNBA drama. He encourages looking beyond the surface-level claims. It might not just be about the alleged inappropriate AI images. There could be a larger narrative at play, and the controversy might be about much more than what meets the eye.
So I think it's really just the fans, her fans, the Iowa fans, now the Indiana fans.
Caitlin Clark hasn't done anything. She goes out and plays basketball. I've never seen her trash talk. I've never seen her taunt Angel.
Remember when Angel Reese claimed that she and Caitlin Clark didn't actually dislike each other? That statement is about to get really interesting. Things take a completely different turn once we dig into Reese's social media strategy. The media has been blowing up the rivalry between Reese and Clark, and Reese is fully aware of it. She's even admitted as much. But here's where it gets tricky. She then shifts the blame onto Clark's fans, claiming they're responsible for the negative attention surrounding her. Something about this doesn't quite add up. If we take a closer look at Reese's online profile, it's like a highlight reel of her life. Carefully curated posts that showcase her achievements, moments, and persona. Yet the way she positions herself in relation to Clark and her fanbase suggests a much more calculated narrative than she lets on.
I think there's a lot of racism when it comes to it, and I don't believe she stands on any of that.
She's using Caitlin Clark, and then she goes, I don't think Caitlin Clark has hatred towards me.
But according to Jason Whitlock, there may be more beneath the surface. He points out that Reese can be bold and unapologetically herself when she wants, whether in photos or videos. She's putting herself out there. Yet now, she seems shocked at how others react to her. Whitlock doesn't hold back. He argues that Reese presents herself publicly and then acts surprised or upset when people sexualize her. Essentially, she's juggling two roles, flaunting her appearance while criticizing those who respond negatively. Whitlock even makes a provocative claim. Reese's nude images are widely circulated online. It's a bold statement, but it raises an important point. Can anyone really be surprised that people react when she intentionally puts herself in the spotlight like that? It's a complicated mix of personal expression, media attention, and public perception.
Oh, they think, I don't like her because her fans are saying this. No, I don't believe in her heart that she has hatred towards me.
It's like everything bad that happens to me is somehow connected to Caitlin Clark.
Here's the tough part. Jason Whitlock asks the million-dollar question, are we even sure these are Caitlin Clark fans? While Reese points fingers, claiming Clark supporters are sexualizing her, Whitlock isn't buying it. To him, it looks like Reese is keeping the spotlight on herself throughout this entire situation. Think about it. The impact of Reese's feud with Clark has been huge. It's almost impossible to talk about one without mentioning the other. Whether they like it or not, their stories are deeply intertwined. Whitlock also argues that Reese probably wouldn't be as famous without Clark, which raises another question. Is all of this part of Reese's strategy? It seems she's conflicted, torn between being Clark's ally or her adversary. One moment she denies any animosity, the next she's criticizing Clark's followers. But is this approach backfiring? Every time she mentions Clark, even negatively, it might be boosting Clark's popularity. Both players keep dominating headlines, largely because Reese can't stop referencing Clark, keeping the rivalry alive in the media and in fans' minds.
Her fan base has gone, I'm talking about
it's a lot.
It's a lot.
And somehow she's connecting it to being a Caitlin Clark fan.
At this point, we have to ask, is Reese fully aware of what she's doing? She's built a carefully crafted online persona, fueled a rivalry with Clark, and now seems frustrated by the very attention she's generated, as if she's caught in a game of her own making. Things take a sharp turn when Reese brings up racism. Just when you think it can't get more intense, Whitlock isn't convinced. He argues that her use of the racism claim might be a way to dodge criticism. Whitlock approaches the situation from a fresh perspective, taking a stand against Reese's racial assertions. Remember his words, I'm highly skeptical when people start throwing that card out there. That's a bold stance, suggesting his doubts go deeper than just Reese's statements. He implies that her claims could be a tactic to avoid taking responsibility for her actions, which is a serious allegation with major implications.
Launches her podcast by taking an immediate shot, in my view, at Caitlin Clark and her fans.
They have sent it to my family members. My family members are uncles are sending it to me
no.
Are you naked on Instagram?
Whitlock's main point is that not every negative event should automatically be linked to race. He urges us to look at the bigger picture. Are critiques of Reese genuinely racist, or just normal criticism? In the heat of controversy, it's easy to blur the lines, calling everything racist and missing the real issues. He warns that overusing the race card can desensitize people and derail meaningful conversations. Ultimately, this situation isn't just about basketball. It's a mirror reflecting how we handle difficult topics, challenging us to separate personal conflicts from societal problems and to approach discussions about race thoughtfully, without letting every debate overshadow the truth.